All right, today we're going to dive into something really fascinating, the intersection of autism and ADHD, what a lot of people are now calling AuDHD. We're going to be looking at a completely different way of understanding masking and a really groundbreaking educational theory from a researcher named Seanín Friel. And trust me, it might just challenge everything you thought you knew about how neurodivergent kids learn.
We hear this word masking thrown around a lot. We tend to think of it as just hiding your traits to fit in, right? But what if that's barely scratching the surface? What if the reality is, as Seanín Friel puts it, much, much, much deeper than that?
So that's really the big question we're tackling today. What is this deeper thing that's going on? And maybe more importantly, why is getting this right so incredibly crucial? To get to the bottom of that, we have to first pull back the curtain on what's really happening. It's a hidden struggle, and it starts way earlier than most of us think, like almost from birth. Okay, the most important word on this screen is unconscious. This isn't some deliberate choice a child is making. It is a deep, primal survival instinct. From the very beginning, an AuDHD child picks up on all this negative feedback from the world, and they start to change who they are at their core, not to be more comfortable, but to be safe. And get this is not some rare phenomenon. A jaw-dropping 90% of neurodivergent people are masking in some way to seem normal. Just let that number sink in. The vast majority of people are fighting this relentless, unconscious battle every single day. And the cost? Oh, the cost is immense. This goes way beyond just being tired. We're talking about severe burnout, crippling anxiety, and this deep, profound sense that you've lost who you even are. People literally become disconnected from their own bodies, their own needs. They end up suppressing their true, authentic self, carrying what the source calls an internal hell that no one knows about. It's devastating. So what is driving all of this? Where does this struggle even come from? Well, it's a systemic issue that basically drives a wedge between a person's mind and their body. Our source uses this absolutely brilliant metaphor to help us understand the internal world of an AuDHD child. Just imagine, for a second, that you have 10 faucets of information all blasting at your head all the time. That's what it can feel like. So from day one, that child is unconsciously learning which streams of information to pay attention to and which ones to block out, all based on what gets them a successful result, which, again, usually means staying safe, not getting what they actually need. And this right here is at the heart of a huge, critical misunderstanding in our society. We praise the obedient child, right? The one who's quiet, who seems to grow up so fast. But what Friel's work shows is that this obedience is often a massive red flag for disconnection and deep, hidden suffering. A truly healthy child, they're often messy, chaotic, curious, expressive. They're not suppressed, they're whole. Okay, so we've laid out the problem, this deep, systemic disconnection. But the good news is, there is a path back. It's a journey of reconnection, and it's broken down into 3 natural, flowing stages. This is the body-mind connection process, and it has to start with the most fundamental piece of the puzzle. Connection to self. It's all about feeling safe in your own skin again, learning to hear and trust your body's signals and your own needs. Only when that foundation is solid can you move on to connecting authentically with other people. And from there, finally, engaging with the wider world from a place of genuine strength and wholeness. And this is the absolute key, right here. The whole idea is that learning isn't something we pour into a child. It's something that's already in there. A child's very first teacher is their own body, their own internal signals. The goal should be to honor that, not to shut it down. Now, this isn't just some abstract theory. It actually forms the foundation for a pretty radical new model for education, one that completely flips the script on how we've been taught to think about learning. So on one side, you have the traditional top-down teaching method. For an AuDHD child, this can just be completely overwhelming. But on the other side, you have something called emergent learning, which is the core of this sincerity school model. And it flips that whole idea on its head. The focus isn't on pouring information in. It's about drawing the child's own innate intelligence out. It's about respecting their pace and letting their unique potential just blossom. So if you're not teaching from the top down, then who are the teachers? Well, according to this model, these are the 4 real teachers. A child's own emotions, their naturally evolving interests, their genuine enthusiasm, and a supportive environment. That's it. These 4 things become the compass for their entire learning journey. And when a child is actually allowed to learn and develop in this way, something really incredible happens. It unlocks a kind of potential that the source material calls the 10th intelligence.
So what on earth is the 10th intelligence? You've probably heard of Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. Well, you can think of this as the next step. It's this unique, multidimensional, super intuitive form of intelligence that gets unlocked when a child is made whole again. When their sense of self is finally returned to them, their learning just becomes this natural internal process, not just a frantic reaction to everything happening on the outside.
And this quote, it just perfectly captures the entire spirit of this philosophy, doesn't it? The whole process is organic. When you give a child the safety and the space to connect with who they really are, their growth, their knowledge, and their brilliance, it all just emerges naturally, from the inside out. And that just leaves us with this one last, really powerful question to sit with. In our rush to teach and correct and shape children, what if we've been missing the most important truth of all? What if a child's true nature doesn't need to be fixed? What if it just needs to be seen and trusted and allowed to exist? What if it's already perfect?